Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McElmore.
Hello and welcome to another night of sharing. Tonight we have a special edition podcast. With us we have Tina Marie Rodriquez, founder and owner of Open Heart to Open Hands, and special guest Pastor Clarence Thomas, who is the Awareness Ambassador of Nspire Network and co-founder of We Love Period. So welcome you guys. How are you both this evening?
Blessed. How are you?
I'm having an awesome day.
All right, doing great. Thank you both for asking me. And I know that it's been crazy with our technical difficulties, so this is round two, and let's pray that we get through this in round two, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, no more technical difficulties.
Exactly. Like we had technical difficulties the first time we did this, so we're gonna go for the gusto this time, right? So hopefully everything will work out. And I'm actually been looking forward to redoing this because I was not real happy how it turned out the first time, so I really want this to be special because the information you guys have is very important to get out to everybody. So I really want to get this thing rolling. And so what I would like you guys to do, of course, is just tell a little bit about yourselves to the listeners for me, please. Tina Marie, you can start first.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Tina Marie Rodriquez. I am a native of the best borough in the world, Brooklyn, New York. I am an awareness ambassador for Nspire Network as well. And I am the co-founder of Open Heart, Open Hands Village.
All right. And Pastor?
And a proud mother.
That's right. All right, Pastor?
Yes. So I'm Pastor Clarence L. Thomas III, native to Atlanta, Georgia, the best city in the world. And I also have a daughter who is 16. I am an awareness ambassador and brand ambassador for Nspire Network, where we share our brand awareness for women via the Now We Know campaign, as well as for men via the Right to Fight campaign. And I'm very newly now a co-founder of a brand which is known as We Love Period, which has been stemmed from and birthed out of what I'm doing with Nspire Network in our awareness campaigns.
Okay. All right. So we're going to dive into the interview in a few minutes, but I just wanted to, explain to the listeners how you guys met and how you've collaborated together, because I'm sure everybody's wondering, okay, what's going on here? How do these two balance each other out? Even though I know, Tina Marie, that you are definitely a part of, and you're an ambassador of the Nspire Network. So just kind of explain a little bit of that before we get into some of the other questions.
It's funny you should ask, Kimberly. Pastor Clarence and I met through the wonderful world of social media, of Facebook, and became quick friends. And then he introduced me to a wonderful business called Nspire Network. He is my senior partner and a great leader for Team Wildfire, which is part of Nspire Network. We balance each other out in keeping each other accountable and keeping us on our toes.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor, could you add anything else, sir?
When we met on Facebook, it was pretty funny because I actually was, that was about 3 businesses removed from Nspire Network when I was a part of a weight loss project. And we connected, and when we connected, we just felt that God had, greater purpose for us, and we developed a friendship from that company to the next company to now being a part of Nspire Network. And I tell you, it's been a true blessing to have met her. So many times people meet people online and, it's more of a catfish moment. They're not who they portray themselves to be. Exactly. But it's very awesome to meet a genuine woman after God's own heart who was already entrepreneurially minded, already purpose driven. And it was those factors that allowed us to connect quickly, to grow strongly, and to evolve into who we are now and to enter into the arenas that we find ourselves in now, doing a really, really awesome, powerful job of reaching people right where their needs are.
All right. Yeah. So it's amazing how you guys connect, and I love the story, and it just goes to also prove that, social media it can be used for the good and not just for the bad. And like I said, a lot of times you meet people and you really don't know what you're getting, or how you're really going to truly connect, but there's absolutely great purpose in it, and you get to found that secret of taking your talents and bringing them together and making them work for the better. And like you said, having knowing that God is on each one of your sides, and that's what you truly use your business through and get your connections through, and now you guys have something together that's conjoining, which is even more of a blessing. So now you've been combined. Now, how long have you guys actually been doing the business together? And then once you answer that question, what I want to do is talk a little bit, Tina Marie, about your Open Heart and Open Hands before we dive completely into the Nspire network and then some of the other businesses that you guys got going on.
Okay. Hello.
Well, I'll go ahead and jump in.
Okay.
So we've been working together with through the vehicle of Nspire Network for about 14 months now.
Okay.
I actually got started when I received a video from one of the co-founders of the company back in December of 2016. And then January of 2017 is when I made the decision to join him and the other founders and other partners in the pre-launch of everything. At that point, it was an idea. It was a concept. The initial product was more of a first rendering, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the final product, but it was what we got our hands on, was what we had available, that had been test marketed through one of the other co-founders over in one of our Spanish-speaking countries. And so from what he did and made it very, very, he got the proof that was needed to take this to become a company, because he had to test market it himself. Once that proof was gotten in, and Mr. Demond Crump, who's the co-founder that introduced me,
Mm-hmm.
when he got a hold of it, man, he ran like wildfire. And when I got a hold of it, I started running like wildfire January of 2017. So I brought Tina Marie in January during the pre-launch period, and we've been working together on the project ever since.
Okay. All right. Okay. So before we got into a little bit more of the Nspire, Tina Marie, talk to me a little bit more about what Open Heart and Open Hands does, and then explain to me if there's any type of connection between that business that you currently have and then the other business that you're working with Pastor on.
Okay. Yes. Open Heart, Open Hands Village was birthed out of my childcare that I had for 9 years, which was J&T Angels Playhouse. It was birthed out of seeing some of the struggles that my parents had, and I had as well, trying to find good childcare for the children to come to when parents had to work. It was a place where the parents could also come and have some rest after work, not have to worry about the children. And it just grew from there. It grew out of a struggle watching parents become unemployed and unable to pay their childcare bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I then established to helping the families of the children that were still in that childcare. But unfortunately, the building that we were in was repossessed. And then I birthed Open Heart, Open Hands Village. And it connects with Nspire Network with Pastor Clarence and I, because it's still in the same realm of caring for the community, being made aware, educating the community in wiser choices.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I definitely agree with listening to you talk about the childcare needs and how inefficient it really is, and how it's consistently something that there's always a need for good childcare, and childcare itself is ridiculously expensive, and it is really hard, like you said, to help those families in need. But what I liked is that even though this did not particularly work out because of somebody else's faults, as far as, not the building being repossessed and so forth, that you took it to another level, and to see that you were collaborating the two. and what you've done, I think is amazing. But you guys explain to the listeners about what Nspire Network is really about. What are the products and how all this flows together into some of the other products and businesses that you have as well, that you guys have been working on.
Pastor Clarence, would you like to go first, sir?
Sure, no problem. So with Nspire Network, the flagship product that we offer is actually a premium women's sanitary napkin. All right. And the name of it is Cherish. Okay. Cherish. Mm-hmm. Now, that product is very unique because it literally is it's the solution to the questions that are raised through our campaign, which is the Now We Know campaign. All right. And so in addressing women's issues, obviously being a man and our founders being men, we've never had a cycle. We never will have a cycle. At the same time, we all have women in our lives that we care about. I have a daughter. I've got friends. I've got cousins, aunts. They've got wives, daughters, and so forth and so on.
Well, hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
Hello?
You guys hear that interference in the background? That was kind of crazy. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so with that, our founders wanted to identify. First of all, they wanted to have something that was cost effective, something that wasn't super expensive. Mm-hmm. Secondly, our founders wanted to have products that people would actually use, not something that we have to convince them about. I mean, we've all been a part of companies where we had, hey, these are the best vitamins in town. This is what they do. Well, hey, this does this, and this lotion does that, and all these other great things. Don't get me wrong, the products are great, but in those instances, there was usually a situation where they were overpriced, and there was internal consumption that in those companies, the founders had structured it to make sure that they got paid off of the distributors first. And if they did make it out of the distributor's hands into a customer's hands, there was an extra profit on top of that. Mm-hmm. So that internal consumption, unfortunately, is something that people have experienced within direct sales. But much like with Nspire Network, there are companies and founders that want to create an opportunity for everybody to win, for the customer to get a product that is a better product than something that they currently use, and to get it at a great price. Mm-hmm. For the distributor or the networker to have products that are competitively priced, that work well. That's not a hard sell, all right? And to have something that people are going to use anyway, whether you talk to them or not. When you've got those elements in place, you've got something that once your momentum is in place and you acquire a large enough customer base, as a business builder, you can find yourself earning consistent monthly or weekly residual income from actual customers utilizing the product. Mm-hmm. So with the sanitary napkins, Mr. Joel Medina, he's our co-founder. He's Hispanic, and he's the one who actually found these pads over in Asia. And so when he found them, he started test marketing that version of the pads. They were very well for the women. I believe he had about 1,000 women that he was working with for about 12 months. He didn't just do it for like 30, 60 days. He took a full year of testing these products out, getting women's feedback, logging their feedback. And once he got a full year of consistent positive responses from the women, and they grew to want this product, they integrated the product into their lifestyle and changed from the other products that they used to use, then he knew we had something golden. And so, I believe through God's grace, all the founders eventually were connected and divinely appointed to meet. And now, we've got what we've got now, which is the actual launched version of the pad. And so it was created over in China. Mm-hmm. We've got a manufacturing plant that's there. It's branded as the Cherish product. And actually, it's so big of a deal that our company has partial ownership of the manufacturing company so that everything could be, the quality control could be increased and maintained. And so that when women would get this product, the quality would be there and the standard of excellence would be there consistently over and over and over again with every use, with every purchase. And so with sanitary napkins, it's something that women are going to use every single month. I mean, literally one of the most residual products on planet Earth.
Right.
It's recession proof, all those things. So now back to the campaign. The campaign is so key with what we do because I'll tell you the honest truth, just to be transparent, there were a couple of other companies that attempted to bring a similar product over to the United States years ago, 3-4 years ago, but they failed. And the reason they failed is they tried to take a traditional network marketing approach, which people were getting tired of. Nobody wants to be sold anything anymore. They don't want you, trying to beat them over the head and be sounding all salesy. So with this, we acknowledged up front, hey, listen, we understand that women have issues. We understand that now with the advent of the current style of pads and tampons on the shelf, that there are 600,000 hysterectomies occurring every year. We understand that there are hundreds of thousands of women that are being diagnosed with fibroids and dealing with endometriosis. There are women who can't carry a baby to term. Many women having to deal with taking synthetic drugs to fight infections from the products that they've only been privy to because that's all they knew. Right. And so once our founders found all this information out and put this campaign together, now we know it really was about them as men saying, oh my God, we didn't know this, but now we know it. We're going to do something about it.
Right. And, and it's funny, I'm listening to what you're talking about, and I'm sitting here thinking of all the things that, like you said, a majority of us women have had to deal with the fibroid issues, having to have hysterectomies, whether they're partial or full, and to sit back and try to remember and try to understand and tie it back into something as simple as a sanitary napkin. It just, I would never thought in a million years that would be possible. So, I guess my question is that where is the proof of that? I mean, because I know the one thing I've always heard and I've been trying to understand for years is why is it that women of color consistently get more fibroids and end up having more hysterectomies than any other woman? And nobody can ever explain this history. Nobody can understand. They have no idea. I've never had anybody tell me, well, geez, this is the reason why. So, when you're sitting here talking about sanitary napkins is a possibility, how did this information come to light?
Okay, that is a very good question. So with regards to this information, there are several organizations that have done research studies and private testings, right? For example, there's an organization called Women's Voices, and their website is womensvoices.org. And they have information on their site where they go into the fact that when they did their private testing, and they cite the testing, they cite the product, who they dealt with. I'm not going to get into the details of the company names just for protecting our own company.
Right.
You go to their website. You can read the articles where they're talking about feminine care products and chemicals of concern in feminine care products. They've got articles like testing reveals toxic chemicals in a certain company and their specific brand of products. There are fact sheets that they've got up. So there actually have been organizations for years that have been researching, testing, and documenting, and they have it up on their websites. However, for some reason, we're not sure, for some reason that information just hasn't made it out on a larger scale to the masses. Now, we'll tell you, in my own personal research, I've seen information as far back as the 70s, where there were women who brought court cases against these industry giants because of what they were suffering from. But here's the thing. They were suffering in silence before they brought it to a legal issue. And then when they got to court, these industry giants, they've got their flashy lawyers. They got with these women. They settled out of court for X amount of $1 million. But guess what? They have to sign a clause to continue suffering in silence.
Right, exactly.
In order to cash in on that check. So that's what's been going on. But like I said, there are entities out there with the information, good tests that have been done, details about that information. I mean, the great thing about our age now, we're in the information age. And anybody want to look this stuff up, you can look information up on WebMD. You can look information up on sites like womensvoices.org. Very soon, my brand, weloveperiod.com, will be launching at the 1st of April. We're going to have some sources up as well, and we cite where we've gotten our information from. So it's just a matter of getting educated. And just to say this, and then I'll keep it moving. You know, oftentimes they say if you want to hide something from a people, put it in a book.
That's right.
Now, the books are online, and people still are reading. And this is why our campaign is so important, because we're able to now get out there face to face, belly to belly, look people in the eye, and let them know what's happening, what's going on. Because one thing I know for sure, when people know better, they have a chance at that moment to decide to do better.
Absolutely. And I just think that a lot of women, you know, like me and many others prior to me, and the ones who are still going through these issues today, is that they, you know, even though the information is out there, but like you said, because it's not up on a much larger scale, that, you know, people who already know this, have known this, I guess it's no different than head injuries, you know, for many years has been fighting through, you know, the football arena. This is the same type of scenario where they've known, and they keep pushing underneath the rug. You know, we're going to hide this. We don't want people to have anything to know about it. And those who do know, we're going to keep them silent. And even though it's out there now and it's no longer something that's silent, people still have a fear of understanding. And I think the thing that frustrates me the most is the doctors that, you know, won't even tell you or give you any knowledge of what they do know that is currently out there. All they're so busy trying to do, I guess, and I'm going to say in my experiences, well, here's more drugs, you know, well, here, let's sample this, and you can take this to try to make your pain go away. And as all those years of trying to make that pain go away, I actually believe it made things worse.
You know? Yeah, that's true. That's true. When we introduce synthetic drugs of any type to the body, there's always going to be some type of an adverse reaction, because it's not natural. It wasn't created from the ground and found in plants. You know, when we deal with natural substances that have a positive response on the body, you know, we put ourselves in a position where now we're working with the things that God gave us. We're working with, you know, elements that, you know, our bodies can consume, break down, and transport them on a cellular level to the different parts of our body so that they can interact with us and give us the response that they're meant to give. These synthetic drugs, yeah, like you said, they may help in one area, but 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a side effect. And the funny thing is, these medical companies disclose all of these side effects up front, so nobody can say they didn't know.
Right. Yeah, well, and then of course, by the time you get done trying to read and understand it all, you're never going to understand it all. You know, and I think when you're looking at the process of just trying to be out of pain, and you just need that moment of feeling healthy, and then when it goes away, you don't think about it anymore. It's just when it returns and when it becomes consistent is when it becomes a problem for most of us. And then of course we all feel that. I think, you know, majority of us women just feel like, hey, we trust our doctors. You know, we trust what they're telling us, even though we're still trying to understand, you know, why is this consistently happening to me? You know, why has this not been resolved after all these years? We know that this is a consistent issue within our people of color communities. It's all over. I mean, there's no doubt in anybody's mind that this is a problem. But like you said, I'm glad that things are finally really truly getting out, and you guys with your organization, your businesses, you're really hitting a pain point that needs to be resolved, and it needs to be told. The story definitely has to be told to everybody, because like you said, you have a daughter. There are many other women and men out here who have other girls and young ladies, and still grown women who are still going through this every single day, and they're still not getting the answers that they need to have. So I think that's why I think that this interview is so important to get it out on a much larger scale, this information. And Tina Marie, do you have anything to add on to this piece?
No. Yes, I do agree. The campaign is phenomenal. But now we know if you know better, you do better. And yes, it is difficult sometimes because we put the trust in our doctors. Not to say that we should not trust our doctors, but we have to learn how to trust our own bodies and ourselves. and really educate ourselves and research things and not just take what, is being given.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And like Pastor Clarence was saying earlier, that the reason now you can Google pretty much anything. And it's right there at your fingertips. But for many years, that availability wasn't there. So many women, I'm sure, just said, "Hey, we're going to go by the guidance of what is being given to us," and that constant belief. But like I said, today you have more choices, and I think women have always listened to their bodies. But when it gets to a certain point, you get to a point where you just want to be out of pain. And I think that's really the bigger picture of it. But now that there are products out there that you can learn from and know that you don't have to live that way and have to be in that type of pain and understand what you're purchasing, that's the beauty of the whole story at this point. So, like I said, what you guys are doing, I think what you guys are doing is fabulous. And then the founder to find something like this is incredible. Because I think what amazes me about anything, whether it's scientific or anything that's new, it's always out there. It's just a matter of who has it and how does it get to the masses. And this is a great opportunity for this to happen between you guys and other organizations that are doing the same thing. So I do have some questions though. What challenges have you guys faced in the process of trying to get this information out? Even though we know it's a product that, as you were saying, Pastor Clarence, that every woman at one point in their life they need and are going to have. But what challenges have you guys faced?
Well, I tell you, just to kind of take it back, when we were preparing to launch this company, there was another co-founder who I will not name, who was a part of our founding fathers, if you will. And unfortunately, but fortunately, it was discovered that he had a hidden agenda, and he was relieved of duties and was separated from the company early enough to where it wasn't detrimental, but it did slow down the timeline. So early on, even though we were out doing our focus group presentations, we were going to get with groups of women, groups of men and women up and down the East Coast. I know for myself and Tina Marie, we got the awareness out there, but we were waiting on the product to become available. And so, it took a little longer than initially planned because of that little hurdle up front. But, once we got the bad apple out, we were able to move forward. Eventually, in about 5 months, we were able to, actually in about 3 months, we were able to get an initial run of the first set of product. And after that, 2 months later, we were able to launch phase one of the company, which was getting it out to distributors, partners like myself and Tina Marie. Mm-hmm. But that, we had a lot of folks who were like, okay, man, this looks good, but when can I get it? It looks good. When can I get it? When can I get it?
Right.
Was the resounding question. And we just kept telling people to hold on. And don't get me wrong. Some people that were partners just like us and other awareness ambassadors, some of them kind of fell to the wayside because, when people get involved in something like this, you're going to know who's in it for the long haul and who's in it for the quick check as time goes on. Mm-hmm. And so eventually you fast forward to October when we had our first opportunity to actually have some remnant, something that looks like a store, and we were able to start getting product to our customers. That was a pretty good experience, and it was a little bit of doing some workarounds here and there, but we did what we had to do. But customers were enjoying the product, and we had gotten those shipping times down too. Because I tell you, when we first got started, man, the demand was so great. It was so great. We had to wait 6 to 8 weeks for delivery, just like they say on TV.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
The demand was. Let me tell you, the demand was so great. At first, honestly, the guys manufacturing, they didn't believe that the demand was going to be as big as the founders projected. So they didn't create as much as they said that they were going to do.
Wow.
But I tell you, when everything started going full cylinder, they saw that their warehouse was empty and they had to continue to make that product a lot faster and in greater quantities. Mm-hmm. Everybody got in their lane right where they needed to be. Mm-hmm. But, they've seen, companies like this, like I said, attempt to do this and, didn't move like we moved. But we proved ourselves, and the manufacturing got caught up. We brought in a phenomenal woman who is working, running our logistics. She's doing a phenomenal job. So when we brought her in, things started speeding up and getting to a point where the shipping became world class. And now we fast forward to now, everything's moving smooth. You can place an order, get your product in 3 to 5 business days. Mm-hmm. Everything on point now, and we're poised for international expansion.
Wow, that's pretty good. And like I said, it's been not even 2 years, or just about 2 years.
Yeah, so phase 2, having the customers being able to buy the product, that happened in October. So really, October was when we kind of really got going where we could do everything, but now the new and improved, the actual store itself, which was the vision the founders had, mm-hmm. that store actually just launched about 3.5 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So the official Cherish store up and running about 3 weeks ago. So really, as of about 3 to 4 weeks ago, everything is in place for us to say we officially are able to do everything that we need to do.
Wow. Well, that is good. So you guys have definitely come a long way since the last time we talked. Because I know it's been about 6 months since the last time we talked. And boy, it's amazing what happens in a 6-month time frame. So tell me just a little bit more about the other parts of your business. Like I said, you're now the co-founder of We Love Period. And so I know that they're kind of in conjunction, but what other particular products do you have on board with your businesses now? Your other businesses.
Okay, so just to kind of cover this real quick, mm-hmm. We Love Period is the brand that my partner Joseph Smith and I came up with, because as distributors of Nspire Network, Nspire Network is a huge organization in and of itself. And in order to gain a brand to label ourselves, to get it to where we can market ourselves and what we're specifically doing within the umbrella, it was necessary for us to come up with a unique brand that would be our own. Mm-hmm. And so, we thought about it. And then, as we thought about it, our slogan came up, which is we love wives, we love husbands, we love fathers, we love mothers, we love sons, we love daughters, mm-hmm. we love sisters, we love brothers, we love families, we love others, we love period. Because everything we do stems from love. Us getting involved as fathers and him as a husband, mm-hmm. it came from the fact that we love the women in our life, and we wanted to make a stand for them, and in doing so, make a stand for other women. And so from there, now we're making a stand for men too, because not only do we have the world's most comfortable sanitary napkins that are guaranteed to help women love the way they feel, mm-hmm. we also have a line of nutraceutical products. We've got a product called Max Life, and Max Life is a prostate care supplement, and it has one of the highest concentrated amounts of beta cysterols, if I'm saying that correctly. I believe I am. Mm-hmm. That's a component that's very key to getting cancerous cells healthy. There's a lot of research that shows improvement in cancer patients that were exposed to this natural substance. Saw palmetto, all those things are in there. So that's helping men that have healthy prostates to maintain them, and for those that are fighting prostate cancer to now gain an advantage by having natural supplementation that's going to help them fight a better fight from the inside out on a cellular level. Then we've got a testosterone booster, right? And this testosterone booster, Empower Plus, we found out that men as early as their age 30s now are finding themselves with low energy. They're working out, but they're not able to get the weight off or burn the fat. They're finding themselves being like, and the funny thing, it's not just about the fact that these men have hit a certain age, but you're talking about food consumption now. There's a lot of soy in the foods that we eat right now, preservatives. And you're also talking about some men with regards to what they're taking in the form of synthetic drugs mm-hmm. for other issues. So with that, we're introducing something that's boosting their testosterone, getting their energy levels up, and now they can feel like they did when they were in their 20s, right? Wow. Mm-hmm. We've also got something for men and women to help with memory boosting. It's called Total Recall. Total Recall is a great product because if a person goes on our site and they look up the ingredients and they research them, they're going to be happy like I am because they're going to find out that the ingredients that are in Total Recall have been attached to other research studies by other universities and other researchers. And in those studies, there were positive effects and positive gains when dealing with patients as extreme as Alzheimer's patients. So the ingredients in there are working to help to regain and boost memory. And then we've got something for our married couples. We've got Sweetest for her, and we've got Taboo for him. And they actually are sexual energy supplements. They help a woman to increase her libido, her arousal, her sensuality, her even feeling and feeling desirable to be with her husband. And for the men, the Taboo is helping to change that issue of erectile dysfunction. A lot of men don't just suffer from it because they're older.
Right.
A lot of men suffer from it because they're taking, some synthetic drugs for prostate cancer, and is offsetting their ability to please their mate. And so funny thing about that is, when we mention those two products, there often are some giggles and some chuckles, but really when you think about it, there's some underlying issues that we're now bringing to the forefront to address. There are men and women that are literally suffering in silence. They're not talking about it.
Right.
They're brushing it off like, hey, honey, I'm tired. I'm sorry. I just don't feel like it. And saying, I'm sorry, I'm tired. I just don't feel like it over the days, weeks, months, and years can begin to take a toll on that relationship. You've got some people literally that are facing and dealing with depression because they can't please their mate. I was talking about this product this past weekend at an event in Millersville, and I said, listen, let's compare it to our relationship with God. What's the one thing that we do that we know gets his attention and is a way of expressing our love for him? That's our worship. Well, what if a situation where for something going on in your life that you could not explain was causing you not to be able to worship God the way that you know that you can?
Right.
You just can't. Hello?
Yes, I'm still here. I can hear that. Yeah, I heard that too.
How would you feel in that situation, not being able to worship the creator of all, especially if you've got a strong, loving relationship with him anyway? You'd be devastated.
Right.
So we got men that are suffering and some even depressed because they don't see a way out. And it's so expensive. I mean, the women's product that was recently launched by a major company about 2 years ago got this product is a daily supplement, much like our women's product is a daily supplement. But there's $850.
Wow. Because isn't there supposed to be this new like Viagra product for women or something? I mean, there's all these.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, that's crazy.
It's only one that's gone through FDA approval because it's a synthetic drug.
Right.
Synthetic drugs have FDA approval. So that's the one. It's $850 a month, and ours is about a tenth of that.
That is ridiculous. But, people will do whatever they feel like they need to do if they have an understanding of what it is that they feel is the problem. But, the things that I love about your products is that you guys are actually looking at this is what we do to make you feel good from the inside out and not just from the outside in. And it's not a temporary fix. It's like a permanent fix. So that's amazing with some of the new product lines that you have.
You're absolutely right. And that's the thing about natural supplements. We call them nutraceuticals because they're natural. With nutraceuticals, usually it takes anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to get natural substances in your body for your body to begin to respond, and you begin to see and feel the effects of it. It's kind of like loading your body up. But once you got your body to the levels they need to be from your daily supplementation, as long as you're maintaining your supplementation, you're going to enjoy the benefits of it. Benefits, I might add, that don't have any side effects, unlike the synthetic drugs that we were talking about, that typically always have some type of an adverse side effect. And for men, they're finding themselves taking the blue pill, unfortunately experiencing heart attacks, and then unfortunately some men passing away when all they're trying to do is to get themselves back to a place where they can love their wife their woman the way that they know how best.
Right.
And so we're very happy that we can help them in that area and keep them alive.
Exactly. Because it is, for most people, it's very devastating. It's no different than when you one day all of a sudden lose your hair, and you're trying to figure out how to lose my hair. So there's all these different things that make people go through anxiety and depression and, what some people, as we may take for granted, for those who don't have these issues, they take it for granted. But when it does hit you, it really does hit hard. So it's great to see that there are products that are natural that can help you feel like you again. And that's always important no matter what you're doing. So I just got a couple more questions. T. Marie, do you have any other things that you wanted to chime in on before we close the stuff out?
Yes, one of the best things of the Now We Know campaign and the products is the conversations that are now taking place intergenerationally. Mm-hmm. You have grandmothers talking to the aunts. You have the aunts talking to daughters, nieces. It's that open communication and awareness that is being brought into the home.
Right, and that's important. And as we all know, that usually as people of color, the big thing that I can remember hearing growing up is, you don't talk about this. You just keep it to your place, or you stay in your place. We don't talk about family issues. These are things that if you don't communicate, these continual circle of craziness goes on. So it's really great that there's more open dialogue and that people are actually understanding the importance of communication and how it can truly help the next person who may be going through the same type of suffering, whether it's wearing the sanitation pad that's no good for you, or like you said, whether it's having those issues of trying to please the person that you love. So it's really important that these conversations are coming out. So I do have a couple other questions before we close. First, tell me if you guys had one suggestion or advice that you would give a person about coming in business, what would that be? 30 seconds, each one of you. 30 seconds.
Tina Marie, you got the floor. Okay, well, I guess I'll jump in. So,
okay.
What advice would you give people for going into business for themselves?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I would say whatever you're looking to offer people in the form of a service or a product, make sure it's something that you can stand behind. Make sure it's something that, should people use it, you can go to bed at night knowing that you're giving them the best value possible in the usage of that product or service, and that you're also giving them a price that's reasonable. If you can do those things, and thirdly, if it ties into what you're passionate about, then I think you can have something great. And see, a lot of people do things for money, mm-hmm. and they don't necessarily have a passion to see it through to make it something bigger that could actually take care of them. And so they're always chasing after the check and chasing after working to get the money, mm-hmm. and they're not able to get to the point where they're able to build it to the point where now it is providing for you because you worked it long enough to get it to that place. So that's what I would definitely encourage a person that's looking to go into business for themselves.
Well, I definitely agree with that. Understanding the product is important. Like you said, it's great to want to have that check, but if that's all you're chasing, you're doing everybody a disservice, even the individual themselves trying to start the business. So I absolutely agree with that statement. Tina Marie, did you make it back on, or did we lose you? All right. Well, I think that we probably lost her, but since we're actually coming to the close of the interview, we're going to go ahead and just close this out. I know she was having a lot of technical difficulties on the line. So the one thing I do want to ask, though, is that if you could please provide some information of how listeners can get a hold of you guys, that would be helpful.
Okay. So this is Pastor Clarence Thomas III. There's several ways to get a hold of me. One way is you can reach out to me via my email. Right now, I've got an email for We Love Period, which is weloveperiod@gmail.com. When our website launches, that's going to change to support@weloveperiod.com. Also, if you want to reach out to me directly, Outside of that, you can actually text me or call me. My number is 404-348-6913, 404-348-6913. I'll be more than happy to take your call, answer questions, and let's connect.
All right. And for those who want to reach out to Tina Marie Rodriguez, I think we've lost her, like I said a few minutes ago. I know she is definitely on Facebook, so you can definitely reach out to her to ask her about the Open Heart to Open Hands, as well as the Nspire Network information. And it's Tina Marie Rodriguez, founder of, like I said, of Open Heart and to Open Hands. And I just want to say thank you both for trying to come on and getting through this interview. I know it's been crazy from the beginning to the middle to the end, but I wanted to definitely get this out so we could get this rocking and rolling, so everybody can reach out if they have an interest. And again, thank you for all the information, Pastor Clarence and Tina Marie Rodriguez. I appreciate you all coming on tonight. Do you have any last words?
Well, I did want to give Tina Marie's email address out. Okay. She can be reached directly at openheartopenhands, 8 @outlook.com.
All right. All righty. Well, thank you so much for giving me that extra information. And again, like I said, I would like to thank you for coming on tonight and sharing your story. For everyone else, enjoy the rest of your evening, but also remember that we are now on iHeartRadio. But until next time, you all have a great evening. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.